when I employ a person, I employ you because of certain skills and knowledge. That's why I want you to work in my company. You've got certain skills and knowledge. The second thing is, once I have you in my company, I pay you a salary. That means I can actually now say, I expect of you to work your full time. So if you do a 12-hour shift, I expect of you to do your job for 12 hours. That means don't come to me after 8 or 9 or 10 hours and tell me you're tired. And that's one of the things the companies say, that when they look at fatigue, there's an issue here. People come to them and say, I'm tired. They acknowledge it. But actually they're telling the company now that they're not fit for work. And then the last thing that I can require of you, if you are working in a company for fitness work, is I want you to come and do your job with energy. Now, if you haven't slept enough and you only had 6 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep, how can you come and work today with energy? And that's why fitness for work, as an employer, we can actually request fitness for work.
Alex, important comment which you make. Now, how do we normally see in the workplace that somebody's not in a state of mind that his fitness for work is 100%? We see that in behavior in the workplace.
Okay.
Number one, absenteeism.
Yes.
So very often, that's a good reason when people are tired and not fit for work to be absent, is by playing sick.
Okay.
Because that's the honorable way
Yeah.
to manage myself in relation to that. We see that in incidents and accidents
Sure.
where people are involved. We also see that in disciplinary actions, where a lot of people, because of the irritability and impatient and not following instructions and those kind of things, are involved in disciplinary
Yeah.
actions. We also see that when it comes to performance appraisals of these people, that a lot of them are under average.
Yes.
Now, nobody comes to work every day and say, I want to make a boo-boo of today. It just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, so it's not the intention of people not to up to standard.
Yeah.
But when you are being evaluated and you're making mistakes and all those kind of things, there's a reason behind that.
Okay.
And what we had found is that very often his ability to be fit for work is behind this behavior which you see in the workplace.
All right. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is when we look at fitness for work, how does it affect the employee when he comes to work and he says, I'm fit for work? That means, what does it say? I come to work free of the effect of alcohol or drugs. I come to work not impaired. It means I can concentrate and I can perform. It also means you come to work, if I'm fit for work, stress-free, without anxiety. It means if I've got a short-term medical condition like diabetes, it's under control, or high blood pressure, it's under control. But it also has an implication that says my long-term medical, physical, and mental problems are under control. So fitness for work is actually something that I need to take on control. So I'm the person responsible to come to work and say, I'm fit for work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's what your employer expects from you to do.
Yes.
It should be in your contract of employment. You must come to work in a state of mind fit for work.
Correct.
On a
Yes.
day-to-day basis. And
Yeah.
if you're not fit for work, you must warn me.
Correct.
I'm not in that state where you want me to be.
Correct. Sure. So we've now looked at the definition of fitness for work. I also want us to look at the definition of fatigue. So if you look at the screen there, we say when you are fatigued, it actually says you have the loss of alertness and performance. Now, Andre spoke about it this morning. What is the causes of fatigue? There we can see the 4 causes, and I think he's elaborated on that as well. So if you think about fatigue, it means when you come to work tired, it means you are a risk because of those 2 things, loss of alertness and loss of performance. Just an example, there's a picture of the small or narrow margin for safety. This is an incident that happened on the 3rd night shift. This gentleman was doing night shift and he fell asleep just 20 to 6 in the morning on his last load that he was carrying out the mine. And when we did the investigation, we actually found that this guy, for the last previous 3 days before that shift, the 3rd night shift, he didn't sleep enough. He had sleep debt of over 8 hours, which caused a microsleep. And now it can show us that safety and fatigue is actually linked. So there we do the statement that says, if I'm fatigued and I come to work, it means I'm actually not fit for work, which implies that I'm not safe. Now, Andre, you mentioned earlier the signs. How do I know when a person is fatigued. Or how do I know that I'm fatigued? There it is. If I'm irritated or short-tempered, trouble following instructions. Many times supervisors and managers tell me that we have a pre-start meeting. We inform these people, this is the expectation today, you need to do A, B, and C. Following that pre-start meeting, people will come back to their supervisor and say, sorry sir, I didn't hear what you were saying. In other words, he didn't pay attention, he can't follow instructions. We see people have poor coordination and balance, they can't judge distance and speed. Now if you operate one of those big vehicles, which we just showed you the example, and you are fatigued, you are at risk. The same with decision making, as you mentioned, there is a high risk there.